We started the Checking In podcast with two goals in mind. First, as bankers, to share cool technologies and financial tools and strategies for businesses and individuals. Second, to highlight some of the awesome small businesses and services that we have here in North Andover. We thank you for listening and hope that you learned something and come back for more. Hello and welcome to the Checking In podcast. My name is Amy LaMarche, and I'm sitting here with Stephanie Warren of Share the Love Consignment in North Andover. And I had asked Stephanie to come here today because she's a member of the North Andover Merchant Association, a small business owner, and one of my favorite places to shop locally. So, Stephanie, thanks for coming.
Oh, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So I'm sure I'm not the only one that's sort of curious about the consignment business and sort of why you got into it, what your background is, and why you chose North Andover.
Sure. All right. Well, let's go through that. So, why North Andover? Well, I've been I've lived here for 17 years, so I've been a resident for that long. My kids have come up through the school system, Sargent, middle school, high school, and my daughter's getting ready to graduate. So that was one of the main reasons why, I'd always sort of worked from home doing various, sales jobs and whatnot for many years, since my son was very young. And now that my youngest was driving a couple of years ago, I decided to, do something that I had always wanted to do, which is to own a storefront.
And so how did you decide on the clothing?
Well, clothing is something I think that a lot of women would say is, not important, but it's, it really does make, have an effect on our daily mood. I feel like, I tend to wear a lot of color, and even pattern. And, not everyone is like that, but I feel like, we've been able to help, women kind of, get outside of their little comfort zone, a little, more often than not, with the women who are coming in. I do love to come out from behind the desk and assist, if I feel, get a sense that that's something they're interested in.
So I know you're on Main Street, actually
Yes.
right across from the Cam Studios, which is where we're sitting.
Right.
And you're always great with me. Like I'll pop in there for a few things and you're grabbing pants off the rack and shirts off the rack and so on. I always end up with more than I expected to get, but the prices are reasonable being consignment. I like the sort of environmental impact of reusing, which I'm happy to do. And you're always great about picking out things in my size. And so that it makes the shopping experience so easy. So
Great. Glad.
I appreciate that. And it's fun to sort of pop in there because things circulate through there all the time. So you never know what we're going to have. You have bags, you have shoes, you have blazers, everything.
Cozy and casual has been the theme for the last couple of years. I think we're just finally starting to, move out of the whole sweatpant phase that came with COVID. And, but still, we want to be comfortable. We've realized the importance of that in our daily lives. So, we've tried to cater to that as much as possible. What I love is that, I can have someone come in and yes, they're not quite sure what they're looking for, but I can sort of get a sense for, their style, ask questions, just get a feel for, who they are, what their daily life is like. Are they, working? Are they, a stay-at-home mom? Are they, which means a whole other, list of things that need to get done. So, just making sure that they're, finding things that make sense in their daily life. I mean, that's the beauty of consignment is we have, at almost any given time, we have everything, in the shop.
Well, I remember I swung in there with my assistant manager and again, just to say hi, and she bought the Fry boots that were not in my size, unfortunately, but I mean, that was a huge find and I think will be appreciated for many years to come.
Right. No, we love those scores, but I think that, just knowing that you are a very busy woman, as well, and only have limited time, there's a lot of women that come in that are in that same position. So I think it is imperative that myself and my team members, kind of quickly assess, what it is. How is it that we can help you? Because that's why I'm doing this. It's all about helping people, not just, in the shop, but then being able to allow people to make money, for the clothing that they're not wearing. Just because they're not wearing doesn't mean that it isn't worthy of love and attention. So, we need to find a new home, for their pieces.
Now, speaking of that, yeah, obviously it's consignment. So you have people who bring in their clothes. I had brought in that pair of boots, which you
Right.
called me a few months later and they had sold.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how do you get the word out? How does the whole consignment piece work?
Mm-hmm.
And are you always taking clothes in?
Yes.
Explain the whole, if you would,
Sure.
especially if there's anybody out there who maybe has clothes, a loaded closet, and wants to.
Right. Well, that's, yes, a very common occurrence. We have really been inundated and overwhelmed with the number of pieces that have come through the door, thousands and thousands. I mean, in the first year, I had 600 consigners, and it's over 700 now, because a lot of it is repeat business. Um, Due to that, typically I'll do 3 or 4 consignment appointments a day. And I took November, December off just so that I could prep for the holiday, busy time. I purchased some new items at that point, jewelry and different home, gift type items. So, I needed to take a little break mentally too from,
Yeah.
what is usually 3 or 4 appointments a day, every day, for months. I've been doing it since January 1st, just for spring.
That's so intensive. I
It
can't
is.
even imagine. And you
Yeah.
must have to be fairly discerning.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And while I feel badly, that I can't take everything that someone brings in, the way I kind of explain it, to people is that, I've had so much coming in that I've sort of been able to now only select the things that look like they're new if they aren't actually new with tags, which is a lot of what we have as well. I wanted to make a new with tags section and I realized it would be about, a third of the store. So that just didn't make sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, even for people who might not, be interested in secondhand clothing, which is typical consignment, we have so much that comes in that is brand new, so there is literally something for everyone in the shop. But so given that, all these appointments, I try and keep it to 20 clothing items per appointment. But typically, more comes in, and I'll be honest, I find it hard to turn anything
Yes.
away that I think that will be well received by my customers. So it does make for a busy day every day. I don't think people realize just how much work goes into consignment. It's not like a boutique where you put everything out and then you just wait for people to come in and take a look at
Yeah.
it. Every single day I don't sit down. For 7, 8 hours, so I think it's important for people to understand that, when they're calling and I'm booked out a few weeks with appointments, that, we are doing the best we can to accommodate everyone, and definitely want to see what they have, what treasures they have, in their closet. But if they could be a little patient with us, we're always appreciative of that.
It's a good message, but I think of just the labor involved in all of those
Oh,
clothing. You
absolutely.
have to hang everything up, and
Right.
I mean, just
Yeah.
your arms must be
I know.
rock solid at this point. From
Yes, and I have a torn rotator cuff, so it hasn't been easy. But
God.
from a ski incident, but we won't get into that. But yeah, so I've been fortunate to have some nice help, some employees, But again, it's pretty lean at this point with regard to the business. Certainly not making money hand over fist. My expenses are high. Because I chose to go online, have a Shopify web page.
Oh, yeah.
Everything goes, on our Facebook shop tab. I've wanted to be able to allow people to use any credit card they want, so obviously there's costs that come along with that.
Yeah.
Be able to pay the way that makes sense for them and get some points
Mm-hmm,
while
mm-hmm.
they're at it. We have a rewards program, so for every $200 you spend, you get a $10 coupon. So my system, that is an amazing system that, of course, we have to pay for every month, does all of that for them, So for ease of use, and once the items come in and I enter them into this system, it's bulletproof, all of those items are attached to your name in the system, and when it sells, then the split happens. The system does everything. So, I really feel comfortable and confident,
I don't know how you could do it otherwise. If you
Right.
were trying to do it manually,
Oh my gosh, I
there's
know.
no way. I mean, you would have closed already
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
been committed to
Yeah, it's less
something.
work that
Yeah,
way, but
yeah.
it's just I needed to know. I needed to know that I know who every piece in that shop belongs to, and who, should rightly get the money when it sells, or to go back to the person if it doesn't, if that's what they choose.
Well, yeah, I was, again, impressed about the boots. I had pretty
Right.
much forgotten about them, and then you called it,
Yeah.
credited toward, and I was able to buy pants or something,
know.
which was awesome. I want to make sure we hit upon I mean, it's fun to get awesome clothing, but
Right.
I know you have some other things that you do in the store for women. So if you could elaborate.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, one thing that we've been trying to do is sip-in shops in the evening, like 6 to 8, or maybe on a Saturday, 5 to 7, right after closing. And what it allows is a group of women who know each other, someone typically hosts, and then they'll send out a text, to their friends to invite them. But then that's all they need to do, is show up. I do everything else. I provide the sip and a little bit of picky food while they enjoy each other's company and, help each other. It's really about just helping each other look at items and look at them on you. And, it's kind of, I did Cabby, which is a women's clothing line for
Yes,
7 years. And it kind of brings me back to those days of doing the home parties with a clothing line. And although this is a lot less work for me and a little more enjoyable because I'm not working it the whole time. I'm just kind of sitting back and allowing them to help each other, give suggestions and, look for things, which women love to do, which is nice.
So if somebody wanted to have a sip and shop, they
Just call me.
call you and you figure out a good evening.
Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely. They could give me a couple dates or I could give them a couple dates to start with. And I usually find that just a week's notice is great, for friends. A lot of people know what they're doing next week, but they don't know what they're doing next month.
yes.
So
yes.
even last minute works really well.
Everybody can find time to shop.
Definitely.
And it's usually 7 to 8,
I do 6 to 8,
six
we're usually there till about 8:30, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Well, you got to ring up all the stuff probably.
Yeah, no, I mean, even just them having fun, which is great. I love to see it. It really makes my day. But also, we're hoping to do some styling events. As of right now, we felt that only people who know each other were, comfortable getting together due to COVID and whatnot, the current climate. But once we sort of come out the other end, which I am confident we will do, we do plan. I have a wonderful woman from Andover, Anastasia, who helps me every week, with styling the mannequins so beautifully. If you're not already following us on Facebook or Instagram, I would suggest that you do that because you'll get to see all of the gorgeous combinations that she puts together. So she and I will be planning to do some styling events in the evenings as well once, we feel that people are ready to get together with others that they may not know.
So what does that mean?
So she'll talk about the current trends, she'll help people. Like she said, we could have someone bring something. If they have something in their closet that they have no idea what to pair with, you could bring it with you, and then she'll help you create a look around that piece. So,
I'm
things
in.
like that. Oh, yeah, she is amazing. So, everyone who follows us already, and she actually has an Instagram page, which is at Style Impress US. So, you could feel free to take a look at her, Instagram page as well. But for Share the Love, it's Share the Love Consignment, both on Facebook and on Instagram.
All right, that is good to know.
And then with regard to what happens to the clothes, once, if they don't happen to sell, typically what we do is we give someone 90 days, to try and sell their clothing if they're willing to donate at the end. 60 days if they want to pick up. Only because we're trying to encourage the local donation. I've identified some wonderful local organizations like Uncommon Threads in Lawrence and Ruth's House in Haverhill, and then St. Vincent de Paul. Organizations that we feel really help people in the local area. On one way or the other. So we have bags and bags of clothing that go out to those organizations weekly, if not daily. And that makes us feel great. I mean, that's the whole point of doing this.
Yeah.
It's just that in-between step to help women try and get a little spending money, for their clothing that they're not wearing. Because let's face it, we all have stuff in our closets that's, barely worn or brand new with tags. So
yeah, so let's get it out.
Yeah.
Let's not
Yep.
throw it away.
Exactly.
Let's let people try to buy it. Let's donate the extra.
That's right.
And make people feel good about themselves with nice clothing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you haven't come in to see us, I would suggest that you do that. We are there Tuesday through Friday, 11 to 6, and Saturdays, 11 to 5. We are considering doing some Sunday hours, just kind of, putting that out there so that at some point, you may see us open on Sunday if I can find someone to cover me, because that's my one day with my husband.
I'm sure he
So,
needs that. So
yeah,
that's
we both
only
do.
fair.
We both do. That's right.
And Share the Love Consignment, which is such a wonderful name. I love it.
Oh,
I
thank
love
you.
it.
Well,
I
that's
love
what
it.
it's all about, sharing the love, really. I mean, honestly, in so many ways. Not just sharing the clothing, but sharing and helping people, in the local community. And this was the way, that I, decided to try and do that.
Great.
However people do it, whether they're volunteering or, trying to, put aside money for retirement, much like myself, I mean, that's what this is all about, and I just enjoy my days thoroughly. It's been almost 2 years, since I started this, and I can't tell you how many amazing women I've met who have now become my closest friends. So it's just, we are there for people in all different ways.
Yeah, it's awesome, and it's funny because you don't really think about a consignment shop as doing that much, but it truly is part of the community, part of the business community, part of the Women's Support Network.
Definitely.
And just great to have you in town.
Thank you so much. We're really enjoying it, and we hope that people will come down. I'm always amazed to find out that there's still people every day that come in who have never been in before. So,
That is surprising
Yeah.
because it's such a, it's so accessible right there.
not everyone comes downtown, so please just know that we are there and would love to meet you. And so we hope that you get the chance to make a special trip down to see
right.
us.
So Stephanie Warren, and my name is Amy LaMarche, and again, we're at the CAM Studios. I always remind everybody that North Andover CAM is here for the community. They've got a lot of equipment for recording, podcast, video. They do record and commentate all the local games and select person meetings and so on. A tremendous resource and very, very low cost. So please take advantage. And I thank them so much for the use of the space. Take care, and until next time, have a great spring.